What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk about a guitar. I mean, no surprise here. I mean, you guys should have probably assumed that I was going to buy one of these. So as you can see, this just showed up the other day. And it is the new Adam Jones 1979 Epiphone Les Paul Custom. So I'm a little disappointed in myself because I have another guitar over here that I bought before I got this, and I've been planning on making a video about that guitar, and I just haven't gotten around to it. And then this showed up. So, but that guitar can wait, because it was kind of just a neat find. This is kind of the hype right now. This is like the thing everybody's talking about, right? So I figured I'd go ahead and do this one since it just came in and it's kind of the new hot thing. Well, the way Epiphone is these days, it's not even the new hot thing anymore. The Dave Grohl 335 just dropped, and that's like the big new thing now. But, you know, hollow bodies aren't really my thing. So I think this came out maybe a month ago. And I picked this one up off Reverb because they're sold out everywhere else. You know, Sweetwater, Guitar Center, nobody had any. But this one was brand new on Reverb, so I got a good deal on it. So I can't be mad about that. But what makes this any different than the last Adam Jones guitar that's come out, right? This is kind of an interesting topic here. Like, what is Gibson and Epiphone doing with this thing here? So if you don't know, you see this has a Gibson headstock on it, like a Gibson style headstock. It doesn't have the Epiphone headstock. So what's going on is Gibson has, or Epiphone rather, has this, I guess you'd call it a new line. They've done them before, but they're kind of like revamping it now to do this with it. It's the Inspired by Gibson Custom Shop guitars. So these are guitars Epiphone does in collaboration with the Gibson Custom Shop. They're supposed to be higher spec. You know, they have those 59 Les Pauls and like the Joe Bonamassa and Lazarus that came out a few years ago, right? So those guitars basically. But these new ones, I'm sure everyone on the planet has seen the Epiphone Greenie that came out came out into last year. It was the first one to have the open book headstock. And, you know, it had the Gibson Greenie buckers in it and all that kind of stuff, right? So this is the second one they've done. This is the Adam Jones 79, right? So this is supposed to be a lot closer spec to his actual guitar than even his, like, Gibson standard signature is, which, spoiler alert, it is, but that's not why I bought it. I bought this guitar just because I really wanted to see if this quality was any different than Epiphones of the past, right? And I think it is. That's not like a hard yes it is, because it's been a long time since I played an Epiphone from however long ago, right? The last Epiphone I had was the other Adam Jones, and there are some differences, so let's kind of get into that. I guess I should kind of expand on why I sold the other Adam Jones I sold. It was too pretty. Like, you know, the back with the Vela bees, the artwork and stuff, right? Like, I found myself, like, playing it live, being really conservative with it and like really watching what I was doing and kind of like babying the guitar, and it was just really taken away from like the live experience for me. I wanted to just like hang it up and show it off, and I was like, you know, that's really not the kind of guitar for me. It's just not. So I sold it to somebody that could appreciate that a little more. But this right here, you know, it's just got the plain back and stuff, but let's break down some of the differences. So the big difference is the headstock. This has the open book Gibson headstock, which is super cool and very appealing. they're both polyurethane. It's not like they went all out and did nitro cellulose on this, which if they did would be insane, and I would really dig that. But this feels good. It doesn't feel too plasticky or anything like that. It feels nice and smooth. This one, this is, you know, again, it is an Epiphone, so they're trying to save where they can and spec where they feel like it matters. It just has like no name branded tuners on it. They're kind of like Schallers. They're fine. I don't have any problems with them. They don't slip or anything. They hold tuning. They're fine. They're tuning machines. They do what they're supposed to. It has a Graphtec nut, which I think the other one did too, so okay. This has an ebony fretboard, actual ebony fretboard. The other one did too. Kind of a spec that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but when you're paying this much money, $1,500 for an Epiphone, it's a nice spec to have. These are real mother of pearl inlays. See if my camera will kind of capture it. See, these aren't acrylic. These are real mother of pearls, real mother of pearl inlays. And they do look a lot nicer, I'm not gonna lie. They look a lot nicer than the acrylic stuff does. Do you care about that? Does that matter? That's you know, that's for you to decide. This has a Seymour Duncan distortion in it, right? Because it's Adam Jones. The neat thing, this guitar has a Gibson Custom bucker in the neck. Now, that's kind of crazy. I figured they would have just thrown a burst bucker in it and still charged the same amount of money for this guitar. And I really wouldn't have had a problem with that, if I'm being honest. But they put a Gibson Custom bucker in it. Like the same kind of pickup that comes in an R9 or an R8 or something, you know. It's a very high-end pickup. And it sounds really good, too. This also has the CTS pots and the orange drop caps, just like the other one did. So, those are the differences that are kind of apparent by like looking at the guitar and reading the spec sheet. But there was one big difference that I haven't really seen anyone talk about yet, so I wanted to kind of bring attention to. The Adam Jones Art Epiphones still have that like Epiphone neck. And if you've played a lot of Epiphones, you know what I'm talking about. Epiphone necks have a thing. They feel like Epiphone necks. It's a neck shape they do. I don't know what you want to call it. Maybe you want to call it like a D shape or something like that. But it's so like, the minute you grab it and feel it, you're like, that's an Epiphone. Gibsons don't feel like that. They have a different neck shape. And that's always kind of been a big thing for me with Epiphone guitars, is I'm so used to playing Gibsons, and the neck shape just feels very different. I'm not going to say bad. It's not bad. It's just different, and I'm not used to it. That D shape feels a little flatter in the middle, and I don't dig it quite as much. This neck, again, this isn't something you're going to be able to see on camera, but this neck does not feel like that. This neck feels a lot more like my 87 Custom neck. It's like a slim C kind of feel. Now, I don't know if that's like a spec for these guitars specifically, or if whoever was sanding the neck on this one day just did it a little different. I don't know if I just got like the one that would work for me. You know, your mileage may vary, but this one has a very comfortable, like slim C, like Gibson Custom kind of neck on it. And the minute I took it out of the case and grabbed it, I was like, oh, that's different. That's what I like. That's how it's, to me, supposed to feel. That's what I'm into. So I really like that. You know, all the other things about it, this has a long neck tenon. I don't think the other one had a long neck tenon. If you don't know what I'm talking about, on Gibson Custom Shop guitars, if you pull the front pickup out, there's a piece of wood underneath here. That's called the neck tenon. It extends out from the bottom of the neck, and it's what glues the neck into the body of the guitar. On these guitars here, because they're all, said my black guitar and the Tobacco Bursts are just USA production standards, they have short neck tenons. And this Custom is an 80s Custom, so it has a short neck tenon too. Meaning they cut the neck tenon off about here or so. but the long neck tenon, it extends out a lot deeper into the body. And so all your like vintage 50s and 60s Gibsons have long neck tenons. All the custom shop guitars have long neck tenons. So this has a long neck tenon, which is kind of goofy because Adam Jones's actual 79 Custom doesn't have a long neck tenon. It has a short neck tenon, but I digress. This also does have the 3-piece maple neck, just like his actual Custom does, just like the other Epiphone did. So this is $300 more than the other one. The other one's like, what, $12.99? This one's $15.99, I think. So is it worth the $300 extra dollars? That's what everybody is asking, right? Is it worth the $300 extra dollars? You get the same case too. Here's the case. It's that Epiphone protector case, which I really like. You know, it's like an old Gibson chainsaw case from the 70s and 80s. Is it worth the $300 extra bucks? The custom bucker in the neck is worth $250. So there's that. So when you add, you know, the mother of pearl inlays, again, that's for you to decide. Does the headstock shape really matter that much to you? I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It kind of does a little bit to me. I just really like that headstock shape. I like that profile when I'm on stage and I'm playing. That's what I'm used to seeing. It's just, it reminds me of all the guitars I'm into and the history of Les Pauls that I'm really into. It reminds me of that. And it does give these guitars a little more of kind of their own premium feel, right? So, to me, it was worth it. And you don't have the art on the back, which to me is also a plus. Again, not that the art is bad or anything. I love that artwork. It's beautiful artwork. And all the art ones look great. But I'm just a guitar player. I just want a silver burst Les Paul Custom. I didn't want a bunch of art on the back of it. I didn't want something I felt like I had to be cautious with or anything like that, right? So that's why I got rid of the art one. And I really didn't have any plans on getting one of these, but I just kept looking at them. I kept looking at them as they came out, and I went, I really want to try one of these out. I really want to see how this headstock looks and all that kind of stuff, right? So that is the 79 Epiphone Adam Jones Les Paul Custom. I really dig it. Haven't got the chance to take it out live yet. Oh, I'm trying to interrupt myself or anything, but you do have this artwork on the back of the headstock that his actual custom shop Gibsons have. So that's kind of neat. It's got that same artwork on it. Thought it would have been kind of neat if they would have like recreated the whole serial number thing where it has like the 7-9 in it, right? Because his custom shops and stuff. That would have been cool. So, yeah. The other big question that I've had a couple of people ask me, I guess we should touch on with this whole Adam Jones and expensive Epiphone thing, right? This isn't necessarily Adam Jones related specifically, but it kind of ties in. Why buy the Gibson standard version over this? Or why buy this over that, right? Why pay $3,000 for the Gibson standard one when it's a standard, not a custom? And Adam Jones plays customs, not standards. It doesn't even have the Duncan in it. It doesn't have a custom bucker in it, right? And if I'm being honest with you, I think that is sort of a goofy call on Gibson's part. I understand why they built that guitar. I understand why that guitar exists. And I almost bought one of those, to be fair. I almost bought one of those instead. Because I like Les Paul standards, and I like silver bursts, and it's a good-looking guitar. And I've heard it sounds great, and it plays great, you know. But if you're going for the, like, I'm a Tool fan, I'm an Adam Jones fan vibe, it's like this guitar, the Epiphone, actually really kind of fits the vibe more. The other guitar is kind of its own thing. And for people that don't understand why that guitar even exists, the custom shop run of his guitars was super expensive. Those guitars were like, what, $10,000 when they came out? $20,000 maybe? I don't remember. They were crazy expensive when they came out. right? And it was a limited run because all Les Paul Customs now are made in the custom shop since like I think 2001, maybe. It might even be before that, so don't quote me on that. But for the past 20 or 25 years, whatever, Gibson Les Paul Customs have all been made in the custom shop. Mine's not. My Gibson Les Paul Custom is in 1987, so it was actually made at the U.S. production plant, just like these other guitars were. But at some point, they started making all the customs in the custom shop. So, a production run Les Paul Custom would be a really signature model, right? A production run signature model Les Paul Custom would be a really expensive guitar. And not a lot of people would have the means to buy a guitar like that, right? So, they made a Gibson standard production guitar, and they cut corners where they had to get it to a specific price point so that it would be affordable as far as, you know, relative Gibson terms go, right? Affordability, right? The guitar is $3,000. That doesn't mean it's, and when I say cut corners, I mean like they didn't put the Duncan in it. They made their own pickup for Adam, and he liked it, and he approved it, and he let them put it in the guitar. Right? It's a standard, so it only has single ply binding, and it doesn't have the inlays and stuff like a custom has. And, you know, they made, and it doesn't have silver bursts on the back and the sides, it's just the top, right? So they made a guitar. They made a standard line production signature guitar for Adam Jones. That's what they made. And I've seen him play them before. He does play them now. So they're good guitars, right? You just have to understand that it's a different thing. The custom shop version was a guitar really kind of designed for a specific clientele, right? The people that were going to spend 10, 20 grand on a guitar, right? Not people like me and you, but there are people that are going to buy those guitars. So they made those. And then these were made for people that wanted an Adam Jones guitar, right? Like his, but didn't want to pay that much money. So this is where they could make a custom that didn't cost that much money, right? And then the Gibson is in the middle for those people that maybe you're not the biggest Adam Jones fan in the world. Maybe you just like it because it's silver burst. And it says Gibson on it, and it's a USA made guitar, and that's what you want to buy. And that's fair enough. That's great. So all of those different options exist for whoever wants to buy the guitars. And then you have the Adam Jones super fans that have one of everything that they've ever done, right? Those people exist too, which is wild to me. Which I've seen people have one. They've got the custom shop guitar. They've got one of every art model. They got the Gibson standard. They have this now. That's wild, man. But you know, at least you know what you're into. You know what you're about, and you're consistent with it. And that's cool. That's cool too. And that's why they make all these different lines of guitars to market toward different people, basically. So there's the whole kind of Adam Jones Epiphone thing in a nutshell. I'm going to make a separate video about this other topic. That is why $1,500 Epiphones to begin with. Because I have a very, I think, different take on that I'm not going to delve into here. So that'll be for a different video. But I hope you guys like this video. I hope y'all dig this guitar because I dig it. It's super sweet. And I'm going to hit y'all with a demo of this guy. Normally I do the demos first, so I know what to talk about. But for whatever reason, I decided to do this part first, and I haven't done the demo yet. So I don't know exactly what amp sim or amp model I'm going to use, but I do kind of have a plug-in I've been kind of tweaking to. It has like a diesel amp model in it and like a Bogner, and I'm kind of blending them together with like a Mesa cab to try to get some like Adam Jones Tool type tones. So that's probably what I'm going to shoot for. So we'll see if I succeed or not. But yeah, this is the 1979 Epiphone, inspired by a Gibson Custom shop. I'm not really sure their naming scheme here, but it's an awesome guitar, and I really like it, and it plays great, and it sounds great. So, hope y'all dig it too. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think about all this Adam Jones hype, if you think they've just made too many of these guitars, if you think it's just ridiculous. I know a lot of people don't even like Silverburst. I don't know how you don't. I think it's like one of the coolest finishes ever, but to each their own. So leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I try to upload weekly. So, hope y'all enjoyed it. And I'll see you soon.